A firestorm erupts in the wake of the leaked Save the Bays emails.
The Bahamian public is probably trying to figure out why a so-called environmental group would run to court for an injunction, would run to the data commissioner with what was undoubtedly a move by many to destabilize the government.
ZNS News with the full breakdown. Also, disease decision. The Ministry of Health releases results on the Bahamian who died after a South African conference. And then, school break. One school breaks down at the news of the death of a teacher. The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, starts now.
Now in HD. ZNS Network presents The Bahamas Tonight. This portion of the news brought to you by BTC Every Day.
Ebola fears are ruled out as test results are revealed. Good evening, everyone. I'm Keisha Latterly, and welcome to the Bahamas Tonight. Topping the news tonight, rumors quickly spread 2 weeks ago that a patient at the Princess Margaret Hospital may have died from Ebola, but immediately health officials who initially examined the patient said it was highly unlikely. Tests were carried out in the United States, and the results confirmed what local health examiners had suggested. Our Jared Higgs was at the Princess Margaret Hospital this morning as the health minister made those results public.
The Minister of Health confirming this afternoon that a 51-year-old woman who traveled to South Africa did not suffer from Ebola. The announcement comes following tests conducted by the Center for Disease Control in the United States.
My ministry has confirmed receipt of a report from the Centers of Disease Control, commonly known as the CDC, in Atlanta, Georgia, regarding a 51-year-old female patient of the Princess Margaret Hospital who passed away on Sunday, March 27, 2016. The report confirms, through conclusive testing for Ebola, that the patient was not suffering from Ebola infection.
With Ebola ruled out, the question still remains: how did the patient die? The health minister says the focus now shifts to finding an answer.
A definitive answer is not known. Now, in other circumstances, a post-mortem would have been done, but they could not proceed with a post-mortem until we got this result. And the result just took long for us to get because of other issues that arose.
Those other issues are related to two couriers refusing to transport the specimen for testing. Eventually, a third option was engaged, and the specimen was taken to a U.S. lab. Now, when asked why he thinks such fears were aroused, Minister Gomez gave this response.
I think there was the concern, I guess, arose because you had a patient with fever and who was quite ill, who had traveled to Africa. However, in this case, this was not an area of Africa that was affected by Ebola.
As I said earlier, the focus now shifts to determining how the patient actually died. Reporting from the newsroom, Jared Higgs, ZNS Network News.
Marathon MP, the Honorable Jerome Fitzgerald, says Save the Bays is barking up the wrong tree as the group tries to silence him and the Tall Pines Member of Parliament, Leslie Miller. This after they revealed details of emails between Save the Bays members in Parliament. The comments come as the group is now seeking or requesting from him that he stop distributing further information from those emails. Our Cleopatra Murphy explains why Fitzgerald, meantime, says the group must brace for, quote, a coming storm.
Education Minister the Honorable Jerome Fitzgerald scoffed at Fred Smith and Zach Bacon's attorney for Ron Bethel's request for his help in determining the source of leaked Save the Bays emails in the wake of what he says was the group's attempt to destabilize government.
I find it strange that they're actually coming for help for the persons, or to the persons who their whole plan was targeted at. So it's obvious to me now that, as the Bahamian people say right now, they mix up like conch salad.
In letters to Fitzgerald and Tall Pines MP Leslie Miller, the attorney asked that they provide copies or details of the emails and refrain from revealing any more information on Save the Bays. In Parliament last month, in what he termed the Great Bahamian Hustle, the minister revealed that members of the group had spent millions to entrap fashion mogul Peter Nygaard and said he had documents to back those claims. Miller in turn revealed that 5 Save the Bays members took home a combined salary of more than $740,000 annually. After accusing him of the criminal act of hacking, Fitzgerald says the group is on its own.
They will have to figure out who that is amongst them who leaked the information, but that's for them, and they'll have to be reminded of the old saying that amongst them there's no honor among thieves, and so they have to figure out how that information came forward from there. But as far as worrying about where I got the information from and who gave it to me right now, that's really the least of their problems.
Fitzgerald says the group should prepare for the approach of a Category 5 hurricane, as the cat is now out of the bag and more is to come. Asked if he felt justified about his revelation in Parliament, this was his response.
The Data Commissioner has no influence at all over Parliament. That is controlled by the Speaker, and when it comes to a member's privilege, there is no bounds to which we cannot go to protect our privilege. And so I will read every single email, I will table every single bank statement, I will table every single wire transfer if I have to, if it comes to my integrity and my privilege.
Fitzgerald says the government takes the matter very seriously and will deal with it appropriately. He stuck to earlier claims that Save the Bays is a political organization under the guise of an environmental group. Fitzgerald says any investor that comes in with ill intent will have to account to Bahamians and Parliament. Cleopatra Murphy, ZNS Network News.
Member of Parliament for Tall Pines Leslie Miller, meantime, says the letters he and Fitzgerald received are simply an attempt to stop both of them from expressing their views on a national matter in a venue where they were sent to speak on behalf of Bahamians. He, however, insists they will not be silenced on the issue. Miller defended his and Fitzgerald's actions in speaking to the issues, saying they were simply stating the facts as they knew them to be.
I didn't pay any attention to it. I just felt that they decided that they were going to write to those members of Parliament who spoke out on what they saw, some documents that was in Parliament, and their view now is to try to stop us from expressing our views on behalf of the Bahamian people in the halls of Parliament, where we were sent by the people to speak for and on their behalf. So I took it as really as a letter really of brassiness, that you have the nerves to present a letter to a member of Parliament asking them to be quiet on a national matter that wasn't brought on by us, but was brought on by the gentleman that they were referring to.
Well, Miller also weighed in general on the Nygaard-Bacon saga. He says he finds it extremely offensive that both men have allowed their dispute to elevate to the level that it has. Miller says it's even more unsettling that both seem to be trying to push their views on an independent country.
It's insulting to me as a member of Parliament that you have these two very wealthy non-Bahamians on our shores who reside in this great place called Lightfoot Key. I'm fighting for the last several years. The Prime Minister, my Prime Minister, got involved in the matter to try to resolve it. He said in Parliament that he had an understanding with Mr. Nygaard that a truce had been brought between the two gentlemen. He met with the other party, and he was very disappointed that all of his efforts went to naught, because instead of trying to make amends and end this fiasco, they ratchet up a notch and then went after the Prime Minister and the Progressive Liberal Party government. So I think it's a sad state of affairs when foreigners could come into your country and try to dictate and to get involved in the political affair of a country.
In other news tonight, a national effort to ensure the Bahamas is ready to host the world beginning this Thursday is poised to make a lasting impression. Today, the local media was given a tour and update on what the organizing committee has put in place when the world arrives. Clint Watson gives us an inside look tonight at the state-of-the-art facility ready to place the Bahamas on the map.
When it is all said and done, the 57th Inter-American Development Bank and the 31st Annual General Meeting of the Inter-American Investment Corporation will cost $11 million, 6 of which would have been funded by the Bahamas government. The IDB Local Organizing Committee's project coordinator, Janine McCartney, says all systems are go.
We are ready, Clint. We can begin in the morning.
That grand tour for the media this morning revealed the registration area, media center, meeting room, the closed plenary session room, executive and international offices, all designed by local graphic designer Shivanti Smith and made specifically for the meetings. Technology, which takes the lion's share of the budget, is headed by Movie Production Company, who contracted the international production house responsible for the London and the soon-to-be Rio Olympics. From touchscreens on the perimeter with information on the conference to viewing screens of important sessions, not to mention iPad coffee tables, the Bahamas is hoping to make a statement that it can run with the big boys in hosting major conferences. McCartney notes that the money won't be wasted as many of the purchases will be used in the public service after the event. More than 200 people have been hired to work the conference, that coupled with a long list of volunteers.
Because, you needed language volunteers, you needed transportation, accommodation. Every aspect of hosting a meeting is represented. We're able to meet the requirements of the bank, which was very high.
McCartney says representatives from the bank have expressed their approval in the level of preparation so far in advance of the meetings. Initially, when the Bahamas bid for the conference, it was under the premise that the Hyatt at Bahama at least would have been open. She says they've compensated by placing delegates in just about every major hotel on the island, including about 80% occupancy of Melia, where the opening ceremonies will take place on Saturday.
We are probably up near to 2,000 now registered. That's exclusive of our local, because there will be a big local contingent.
How many people you expect in total to be a part of this?
It's going to be at least 3,000.
McCartney did confirm that there were some cancellations. She was not able to say, though, whether it was as a result of the Bahama hotel property not being opened as envisioned.
When you host meetings like this, things happen in countries and people cancel. And then sometimes people cancel and then they come back. And so it's fluid until about Friday.
And while the government signed a memorandum of understanding with the Chinese government to use a facility which remains in receivership, they have had to underwrite the cost to ensure the facility was completed.
What items were not ready, we would have done that. We would have assumed the cost to say you have to have the landscape persons, and those are the kinds of things. But basically, the building was ready and with approved occupancy certificates.
And with all systems a go, the Bahamas is hoping to make quite the impression with this conference that will put it on par around the world with other developed nations, letting them know the Bahamas is open for business for large conferences. Clint Watson, ZNS Network News.